Welcome back to Dazzy Cars. Today, we're diving deep into something rare, something European, something electric, but carrying a personality far bigger than its size, the Renault Zoe. Yeah, I know America never really embraced this tiny electric hatchback the way Europe did, but that's exactly why we're talking about it today. Because sometimes, the cars that never quite make it here say more about the future than the ones sitting in our driveways. And the Renault Zoe is one of those quiet disruptors that shaped an entire generation of EV thinking. And trust me, once you understand what this little thing stands for, you'll never look at compact electrics the same way again. Buckle in, because this one is going to hit you harder than you expect. And hey, before we dive too deep, don't forget to subscribe by slapping that button the same way you'd slap the steering wheel of your first car when it surprised you. Now let's talk about the exterior. From the very first glance, the Renault Zoe shows you exactly who it is. It's confident, compact, and unapologetically designed for narrow European streets, yet it carries a sense of charm that makes even American SUV drivers glance twice. The rounded edges, the smooth aerodynamic curves, the almost smiling front fascia, it all creates this friendly vibe that makes the car feel alive. The LED headlights stretch back like sharp eyebrows, giving the Zoe a mischievous look. The pronounced wheel arches and compact proportions make it feel planted, but not aggressive. It's the kind of design that doesn't try too hard, and ironically, that ends up attracting more attention. And something about that simplicity just works. It's like the designers knew the Zoe would be a gateway EV for millions of people, and they treated it with that responsibility. Standing in front of it, you can almost feel the optimism baked into its form, the early promise of an electric future. Moving inside, the interior feels surprisingly airy for a car this small. Renault didn't want this to be a budget EV that felt cheap. They wanted it to feel modern, fresh, and surprisingly premium for its segment. The soft materials, the smooth touch dashboard, the vertical touchscreen in the center, they all come together to create a cabin that's intuitive and clean. The seats, though compact, offer decent bolstering, and the eco-friendly materials give the entire cabin a light, almost refreshing vibe. The digital gauge cluster offers exactly what you need: range, efficiency, navigation cues without overwhelming the driver. And then there's the sound insulation. For such a small EV, the cabin stays remarkably quiet, even at speed. Wind noise fades away, road noise is minimal, and the electric motor produces nothing but a faint, futuristic hum. It doesn't feel like a small car trying to be big. It feels like a small car that knows exactly what it is. Now let's talk about the performance, because this is where the Zoe surprises a lot of people. Sure, it isn't built to be a drag strip monster or a canyon carver, but within its purpose, it excels. The instant torque from the electric motor makes city driving feel effortless. Tap the pedal and it surges forward with smooth, confident acceleration. It's not fast by performance car standards, but it feels quick enough to put a grin on your face, especially when you're threading through traffic or shooting out of a tight corner. The steering is light but precise, giving you that nimble, go-kart-like sensation. The suspension is tuned for comfort rather than sportiness, and it soaks up bumps with surprising grace. And because the Zoe weighs less than many modern EVs, it doesn't feel clumsy or sluggish. It feels alive, light on its feet, ready to dart through tight city streets with a kind of playful energy. It may not roar like a V8, and it may not pin you to your seat, but it has a personality, a genuine, enthusiastic personality. And then comes the battery. Depending on the model year and configuration, the Renault Zoe offered solid range for its size, something that helped it dominate the European EV market for years. The regenerative braking is strong and predictable, letting you one-pedal drive through most daily situations. Efficiency is where this thing truly shines. You can stretch miles out of every kilowatt hour simply because the Zoe doesn't waste energy. It's engineered for real people, real cities, real commuting, not the spec sheet battles that define the high-end EV world. And in a way that makes the experience more honest. Speaking of honesty, let's move into safety. The Renault Zoe may be small, but it was built with the same rigor Renault applies to all their cars. The reinforced EV-specific chassis provides structural integrity, the airbag system covers the essentials, and the driver assistance tech, depending on trim, brings features like lane guidance, automatic emergency braking, parking sensors, and traction control. It's not overloaded with autonomous tech like some modern EVs, but it delivers exactly what's needed to make everyday driving safe and predictable. And that's the point, safety and simplicity. It doesn't overwhelm you, it supports you. When we talk pricing, that's where the Zoe carved out its true legacy. It was affordable, far more affordable than many EVs on the market. And that made it the people's EV across Europe. It became the car that introduced families, students, workers, retirees, everyone to electric mobility. And that cultural role means something. It's not just a car. It's a milestone in automotive history. Even if America barely saw it, as we cruise deeper into the emotional heart of this story, something becomes clear: cars don't need to be loud, large, or luxurious to matter. Sometimes the cars that change the world are the ones that quietly show up, do their job, and keep moving forward. The Renault Zoe might never be a hero car in America, but it symbolizes a shift, a turning point where electric cars became normal, became accessible, became part of everyday life. And there's something beautiful about that, something pure, something worth remembering. And as we reach the end of this journey, as the digital world fades into the hum of the motor and the road stretching beyond the horizon, I want you to take a moment and feel what this car represents. It's not a powerhouse. It's not a luxury monster. It's not a bragging piece. It's a promise, a reminder that the automotive world is evolving, that passion doesn't always roar, and that sometimes the smallest machines carry the largest meaning. If you've ever underestimated a car like the Zoe, maybe now you won't. Before we wrap this up, I want to remind you, if you enjoyed this deep dive, hit that subscribe button with the same energy you'd use to close the hood on a classic muscle car after polishing it to perfection. Every click helps keep this channel rolling forward like a freshly charged EV on an open road. And now for the outro you've been waiting for. If you missed our previous video on the Mercedes EQ sedan, trust me, go watch it right now. That video is already up on the channel, and it takes you into one of the most futuristic luxury EV experiences the world has ever seen. If the Renault Zoe showed you the accessible side of electric motoring, the EQs will show you the other extreme, the grand, the opulent, the almost sci-fi side of what electric cars can become. Head over and watch it. You won't regret it.